In times of major disruption, whether it's a natural disaster or man-made event, whether it's an economic, social, or civil unrest, consumers tend to flock to the stores to make last-minute necessary purchases. This is Urban Sentinel. Let's get into it. Now, while a complete statistical breakdown is difficult to pinpoint, the exact percentages in the following list represent the most commonly observed run-on-the-shelves items consumers purchase based upon media reports from news outlets, social media trends, as well as from preparedness organizations such as FEMA. These percentages reflect a general estimate overall, with the understanding that they do fluctuate depending upon the region, locality, and demographics. Let's just start off the top with the top 10 most purchased items. Bottled water, 25%. Clean drinking water, as we all know, is important, whether it's in the gallon jugs, individual cases, or even water purification. Bottled water is one of the first things to go off the shelf in almost every single situation, because people want to make sure at the bare minimum that they've got that to clean and drink and keep themselves safe. Non-perishable foods, shelf-stable items, canned goods, 20%. Tuna, chicken, beef, pretty much anything you see stocked up in cans, that goes off the shelf, followed by dried pastas, rice, peanut butter, cracker, granola bars, etc. All shelf-stable items, everything that is good as it is without having to be refrigerated, and in many cases does not require any excessive amount of energy or specialty items to prepare them and consume them. Batteries, 12%. Flashlights, radios, other small electronic equipment. Batteries as a whole, A's, C's, D's, 9 volts, all of them, rechargeable, single use. Those batteries fly off the shelf quickly, along with the small power banks, which have become more popular over the years, and also portable generators, which are also in high demand, but again, it comes down to the type of disaster in that local area. Flashlights and lanterns, 10%. Necessary to see, illumination, plain and simple, during power outages. Battery powered, crank powered, solar powered, does not matter. It goes off the shelf pretty quick. First aid supplies, over-the-counter medications, 8%. Everything from bandages, antiseptic wipes, acetaminophen, ibuprofen, antidiarrheal medication, allergy medications, even those small ready-made first aid kits. They're all critical for managing small injuries and reducing the possibility of an illness becoming something worse, especially if medical services aren't immediately available or they're strained to a certain capacity because of the severity of the situation. Toilet paper and personal hygiene, 7%. While viewed as an irrational panic buy, it still makes sense. People need toilet paper, soap, hand sanitizer, feminine hygiene products, and other basic toiletries to maintain pretty much a standard of living and quality of life, which also helps with sanitation and reduces the chance of illnesses being spread or becoming exacerbated in a long-term situation, especially when available access to water might also be in question. Bread and milk, 6%. Now, despite their, again, limited shelf life, people tend to buy these right off the top as their first and their largest perishable food item, simply to provide them short-term comfort, and it's usually going to be used immediately, especially depending upon the situation, whether it be a hurricane or a blizzard or something that may pass relatively fast and they won't have to worry too long about being without other commodities and other things as well. Pet food and pet supplies, 5%. Pet owners, they buy extra dry food, extra canned wet food. They get, cat litter, whatever they need to keep their pets, in many cases, effectively their whole entire family, as it were, if that's their situation, comfortable and safe during the duration of whatever the event is. Fuel, gasoline, propane, 4%. Gasoline for vehicles, especially for evacuation and travel, and propane for grills or portable heaters for cooking and warmth. A lot of backup generators can run on gasoline, propane, natural gas, that sort of thing, and it's gone quickly because people tend to buy as much as they can before they know they may not have access to them, especially for an impending severe storm such as a hurricane or a blizzard. Duct tape and plastic sheeting and tarps, 3%. These items are used for everything: makeshift repairs and securing things down, as well as for sealing up windows or rooms to limit the passage of contaminants that might be outside. Now, there are a lot of other items, obviously, that I did not list, and there are several niche items that you could look at and view as a 1-to-1 ratio of it's very specific for that. As an example, camping gear, tents, sleeping bags, portable stoves. These could be used for prolonged power outages or in situations that you have to evacuate and you don't have a predetermined shelter somewhere. So you find that people tend to buy camping gear that they either don't have or don't have enough of to ensure that they have some level of safety and security and shelter at minimum, either in their location or the next location they go to. Toolkits and lumber. Again, it's often overlooked. Sometimes people don't realize that they don't have the right tool for the right job, and they buy extra or they get additional tools, so this way there are more hands doing work. And also with lumber, sometimes it's planning ahead. People often buy plywood to board up their windows where they have the capability, or they buy additional wood to help secure down tarps on a roof to help reduce the chance of leaking coming in through the roof, whatever the situation is. Those also tend to go off the shelf pretty quickly once people realize the type of disaster that is coming up. Firearms and ammunition. Especially during periods where there is a high level of social or civil unrest and you see a spike in certain types of crime going on, people have genuine concern for their personal safety, for the security of their home. So those are items that, depending upon, again, the regional area that you're in, are things that people also tend to buy more of to have just in case something goes wrong or gets worse. Now, as I said, it's not a total list of every item. These are the most common, most widely observed items purchased under numerous conditions: blizzards, hurricanes, wildfires, earthquakes, for the natural disasters, even in situations where you have, chemical spills or factory explosions, some type of man-made disaster, when it appears to be something that's going to last for several hours to days or even possibly weeks. That leads a large window of other opportunities for things to go wrong within that time frame, and what may be a minor convenience from hours 1 to 12 becomes a little bit more annoying hours 12 to 24, and then can become a problem 24 hours, 72 hours later if you don't have the adequate supplies that you need. So just remember, you can't plan for every type of disaster, but having a plan is still better than not planning at all. That's all I got for you now. I'll catch you in the next one.